What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm the Korrupted Judge, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, I'm back from my tiny little family situation break and all that kind of garbage and junk like that. And as promised, I'm giving you guys the Judgment Day review of all the second dates. If you guys haven't seen my last review on regards to the first dates of this game, then I suggest you guys go and check it out. Granted, it's probably not going to be as good as this one now that I've had a little more time to figure out what my style is in this game and everything like that. I'm going to be using the help of the game this time, not 100% the way you guys are thinking, because this is the screen for the first dates, since I'm too stupid to try and figure anything else out. Also, I'm sorry that my glasses are fogging up. For some reason, my masks aren't exactly working with me today, and this also shows how much stupid breathing I do because my fat ass chooses never to actually do anything with my life. Unfortunately, the one girl that I need to talk about first isn't even on this list, or at least not in the game listing right now. But I'll see what I can do. We're going to be talking about Beelzebub's first and second date, because I actually missed her first date throughout the first set. Thanks to my boy Lorenzo Lucky, shouts out to him, or her, or whatever you identify. You do you. I'm not going to judge. I ain't going to complain. I'm not going to judge. I'm literally the 8th sin. That's literally all I do. With Beel's first date, it was more of a way to like get to know what it is that's going on and all that kind of stuff, how to get to her, how to find her. Before the little update patch that came in, you had to look for like little flies to get her to the first date, and in the second date you had to click the wardrobe, and there's no indicator to click the wardrobe. You just got to figure it out yourself. But with this new update, I went through, I cycled quickly through the intro to the first dates, and now the cues glow purple. So when you're talking to Lucy, when she tells you to clean out the fridge, it's going to glow purple, so you guys can go ahead and click that, and you get to Beel. And with the second dates, when you wake up, Pandemonica and Cerberus is waiting for you guys at the door, you can just click on the wardrobe because it's glowing purple, and you can go see Beel again. The first date isn't with Beel. It just gives us like an introduction to her and how she works and everything like that, as well as an introduction to Walter, her little skeleton servant. It's really cool and everything like that. I gotta admit, I really love those Beel dates. It was really cool, and it reignited a love that I have for Beel. She's not my first, obviously. We all know who my first choice is, but who knows if she'll move up the list or not. The second date was actually a whole lot more informative. In fact, all these second dates were far more informative than the first dates, which is understandable because the first dates were just to get to know the game and get to know the characters. For Beel's second date, there wasn't too much to really go through. Beel wanted our help in order to help into building new parts of the castle. We learned that she is not exactly very architectural, I guess we'll say, and neither are we. I mean, her hallways are all twists and turns and everything like that. But we learned that she made that castle because she wanted to have like some kind of empire, castle, chapel, something or whatever that surpasses that of the Four Lords, which I kind of get. She wanted to rule a throne. She wanted to get on the throne, but ended up not getting it and being sent to the void. One of the biggest things at the end of that date was trying to figure out why she was sent to the void, and it turns out that she will tell us. However, we gotta get information for her. You get give and take. We gotta get information out of Lucy on how to escape the void. We tell Beel how to get out of the void. We figure out why she was originally sent to the void. And that's pretty much all we got for Beel's first and second date. Next up, we're gonna go with Pandemonica, the date that I did before the Beel dates, because I'm stupid and I don't know how to do them in order. The Pandemonica date wasn't 100% informative. We took her out. We went to go to the park and everything like that. We went for a walk. We learned that she more or less controls the area in hell known as Pandemonium, where damn near every single demon in hell correlates and complain and everything like that. Pandemonium is basically hell's actual customer service, and because Pandemonica seems to be the only one that works in there, she's the one who has to deal with it, and she constantly has voices in her head over and over and over and over every single second of the day. That's why she can never sleep, and that's why she drinks so much coffee in order to stay up. But what we recently learned is that when she's around with us, that she somehow is able to silence the voices completely as long as she's around us. It's really interesting. And she also gave us the clue that a lot of demons are actually created for a purpose. They're not just created out of thin air. They actually have a purpose. I'd say that's a pretty good chunk of information to have. Her date isn't 100% fun. I mean, her first date was better than the second date. I guess I'll put it that way. But it was very informative. Next, we're going to talk about Modius. Now, Modius's first date was a little on the rocks, I guess we'll say. And the second date was once again very informative. throughout the second date, we ended up taking her to the movies and everything like that. She wanted to see the Terminator, and I guess she thought she was going to get lucky. Granted, in Modius' defense, she's basically the embodiment of lust, one of the 7 deadly sins. And though it is kind of obvious to a lot of Helltaker fans, I feel like a lot of people in the community feel like it's so obvious that it's not necessarily something to talk about, but at the same time, we don't know or don't think about it because we don't talk about it. So Modius was created as the embodiment to the sin of lust, which is understandable. And she tells us how that basically relationships for her, the way she feels and emotions, work in the opposite, where she expects sex first and then everything goes backwards. Like, hand-holding to her is basically like getting your brains fucked out. I guess that's the best way to put it. So there's that. But at the end of the day, it did point something out that apparently somebody was in the very back of the theater, was watching over them. It wouldn't have been a very important detail if Team 133 didn't decide to point it out within that date. So I'm going to guess that we're going to see that person later on during the third dates. Who knows? The Cerberus dates. Oh my god, these were like extremely informative. Because back in the first date, we had to deal with some kind of shadowy figure. And in the second dates, the shadowy figure came back. We unmasked them and revealed that it's some kind of weird demon that preys on humans or whatever to get their money. Basically greed, I guess you could say. But who knows? I can't judge because I don't know 100% on who that person is. But these Cerberus dates were extremely informative because Cerberus was wondering who the heck was watching over the house over the last couple of days. Cerberus could tell that somebody was watching it, and when we interrogated the stranger and found out that they were a demon, with white horns by the way, that's a good detail that we need to hold on to, that they are like in cahoots, I guess we'll say, with whoever's watching the house, but it's not them. So I don't know what we're gonna go from there. The Malina date. Oh my god. This was a huge turning point. It wasn't exactly informative. However, it ignited a fury that I have now. Throughout the Malina date, it wasn't very informative. We decided to take Malina out to do karaoke and everything. It was going well until around halfway through the date, Justice and Zdrada decided to barge in because Zdrada was putting up posters for her own, I guess we'll say Sloppy's business. And because of that, they barged in, realizing that we were there. Apparently, she showed up because she got a text on her phone saying that we were there in the building. Unfortunately, we couldn't tell who the number was from, and Zdrada's phone is in some kind of weird cryptic language that if we read it, we'll probably die. Luckily, we have Malina to help us out. Zdrada and Malina ended up trying to have a karaoke battle, but Zdrada decided to put up the ante and make it a duets theme. So we were stuck performing with Zdrada, and Malina was stuck performing with Justice. Unfortunately, because of the karaoke that Malina chose, it was a Russian song. Justice is blind, and she wasn't able to see any of it at all, not at all. So it completely butchered it. And then Malina stormed out before me and Zdrada could perform. Zdrada is a lot of things. I will admit she's hot. I will admit that. But I don't go for looks. I go for personality, and it ain't worth it there. She completely ruined a date, and of her own sister's date, mind you. It absolutely destroyed it. It wasn't informative. The date wasn't informative at all. It didn't tell us any hints in regards to their relationship or whatever. But I do know that Zdrada's an absolute dick. Speaking of the bitch demon herself, Zdrada's date is basically one huge blur. You'd think I'm making that up, but if you saw the video, you guys would kind of understand. Zdrada somehow made us go high in regards to some big hippie trip or whatever, using some sigil pendant that she created. So more than half the date is a complete blur to us. We ended up getting our concentration back. Well, we were getting shot at by some kind of gangsters, and then we went over to ended up in the second phase of a high trip. And woke up in a restaurant where the cops were waiting for us, and Zdrada made us go into the play place area just to eat her last meal. At the very end of the date, we ended up having to lift Zdrada's shirt because she had the sigil between her breasts, and that ended up causing all the cops to go into some kind of high trip, and then we ended up leaving. That kind of distracted me, I will admit, but then I was reminded later on that Zdrada's an absolute bitch. But one thing I want to note within the Zdrada dates is that someone seems to be a reoccurring character, and even in the Malina dates as well. There's a character that goes by the name Abby. If you guys remember from the Zdrada's first date, that she was one of the greenhouse employees before Zdrada burned it down. And one thing I didn't mention in the Malina date was that Abby also was working in the karaoke area. One thing, and something about that one, something I didn't mention in the last date. For Malina's date, when we were going to have the karaoke competition, Justice was asked to make sure the building was completely human-free. Justice said that the place was completely human-free and that we were good to go. But Abby was still there at the desk. She was sleeping at the desk. So that means Abby isn't human, she's a demon. Either that or she ended up leaving. But I like the former option. The Azazel date, is more or less what you'd expect it to be. It was a continuation of the last date. We went out to go get ice cream. We ended up finding out that we were stiffed by one cone because we had to order 16. We ended up getting 15. And the museum curator from the first date ended up finding us. Azazel was scared that he was going to take all our ice cream, which he didn't. And he started telling us that apparently he had an art piece checked. He believed Azazel that a lot of the pieces were stolen and replaced with fakes. So odds are in the third date that we're going to have to go back to the museum. We're going to have to look over all the art pieces and tell him which is are real, which ones are fake. Thanks to Azazel and her, in this state, honest, innocent, and very helping and everything like that. I always wonder how an innocent angel like her ended up becoming lore master. I also really want to know if 133 ended up implementing the whole lore master thing into this game or not. The Justice date wasn't exactly informative, but I guess for a lot of people, you could say that it was very informative. I was looking at my analytics. The Justice second date is actually one of my most viewed, sitting up in like the 250 views, something like that, which is actually pretty impressive. Granted, people aren't watching the video entirely through. But I digress. Y'all are free to watch whatever it is you want. In the Justice date, she basically talks about us having new motivation in order to go back into the hobby that we had of buying and painting these little colorful figures and whatever. I'm guessing it's a whole D&D game type of thing. I don't play D&D, nor do I have any intention of it, so that's not my business. But that's what we got, and that's it. Basically, that whole date was just like a big motivator boost, and it actually did motivate me because now I'm doing a lot more artwork and a lot faster than I used to, and it actually got my art style a little bit more down, so it actually really helped. That date actually really did influence and motivate me personally instead of just Taker, and a lot of you guys probably were motivated to do something as well. Now, to one of my favorite girls, as you all know, Judgment, the High Prosecutor. This date did not go the way I had hoped. So, in the first Judgment date that we had, she ended up killing a caterpillar in the butterfly conservatory, or whatever you want to call it. And we didn't get to see her for roughly a week. We found out that we could make some fruit baskets or fruit melodies, Metallica, whatever you want to say it. And we invited Justice to help us out. She came by, she offered to help us. We started cutting up all the fruit and everything. Everything was fine, everything was happy. The art piece for that date was absolutely stunning, and I love it. Odds are I'm probably going to make it my computer wallpaper. I haven't decided yet. And as you guys can guess, the bitch demon decided to show her fucking face. And I gotta tell you, because of this date, I absolutely hate her now. She started talking down to Judgment, saying that Judgment has lost her edge, that she clearly isn't the High Prosecutor that everybody knew, and then laughed away, laughing and blowing smoke and stealing my box of crackers. Judgment took that very personally. She was even crying, and then she ended up leaving in a huge huff, extremely mad. If Zdrada hadn't shown up, I feel like we could have had a really good date with her. But later on throughout the date, we ended up meeting up with Justice, and she told us that Judgment wasn't always the way she is. She used to be given the title as the Nice Demon, and once she was given the title of High Prosecutor, she had to change her ways. So now, with this new Judgment arc, we have to find a way to get the nice Judgment back. How are we going to do that? I can only hope that in the third date we manage to do it. And finally, Lucifer, the CEO of Hell, who still refuses to lift her top. Granted, I'm not complaining, but it's extremely distracting. Her date was kind of informative as well. She ended up asking us to go over to her with Hell to go pick up all her papers, because she's going to start working from home with us now rather than going over to Hell every single day and dealing with thousands and thousands of paperwork. Once we finished filling up all the papers and everything, we had the opportunity to ask her a question in regards to either Cerberus or the Zdrada Malina relationship. For me, I ended up doing the Cerberus date on camera, and she stated that Cerberus was created as a means of keeping hell in its current state. And just because she was created like that doesn't mean that she's no more demon than anyone else. All demons are made with a purpose, like Pandemonica said way in the beginning. And off camera, I decided to ask the Malina question because I figured why not. And apparently, Malina is a bit of a mystery. Zdrada was around before Malina, so Zdrada does count as the older sister because she was around first. And apparently, once the four lords were overthrown, a bunch of reports are coming in about a quote-unquote sour demon that was lurking around the outskirts of hell. And apparently, that's all the information we got. She didn't state how she met up with Zdrada. She didn't state how they became sisters. So something was up there, and I don't know what it was. So that's another link into Zdrada's story. And I'm honestly really glad that I decided to go back and check it out, because otherwise I would have never known that little piece of lore. Once we met up with Lucy after asking that question, because she left after we finished doing our paperwork to go talk to somebody, we found her in the ruins of some kind of little audience area, and we saw 4 thrones standing tall, meaning that was where the 4 lords used to stand. Lucy tells us that is the area where a war raged out with her and some other demons, where they overthrew the 4 lords and they decided to show mercy in regards to letting them live. Unfortunately, their mercy was met with treachery, as apparently the Lord of Greed ended up stabbing a friend of hers who helped her overthrow them into the heart and supposedly killing them. After a little while, as we played a little further, you kind of get the hint that there's a potential shot that the person who helped her was Beelzebub. Unfortunately, I can't confirm it, but I really have a high possibility, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have played this game before, so you guys have that sense too. Okay, that's pretty much all 10 dates, I believe it is. Yeah, all 10 dates, plus the Beelzebub first date, because I didn't get to review it the last time. That's all the information I got. I ended the Lucy date before it gave me the indicator for all the third dates, because I liked going through that beforehand. According to Lorenzo, the Beel date is supposed to happen automatically after I talk to Lucy in her third date. So I don't know if the Beel date is going to be available to play first, or if it's going to be available to play last. I don't know. So I don't know who we're going to be going out with in the next episode, guys. I don't know if we're going to start with Pandemonica, we're going to start with Beel. I don't know. This is all up in the air for me now. But that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this little review. If you ask me, I'd say all the second dates get a 9 out of 10. All being informative, all being entertaining, giving us a bunch of lore. Zdrada's date, though, I give it that like a 2. I'll give it maybe a 3. I'll be generous because she lifted her top. But yeah, that's all. That's it. If you guys have your own opinions in regards to these dates, or if you guys think I should be doing this in a different way, go ahead, let me know in the comments. And because the analytics expect me to, like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry you guys have to hear that, but this is what the analytics expect me to do, so I'm sorry I have to end up saying it. With that said, I'm the Korrupted Judge, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around.